What's up everyone, Sorankar Gaming back again with another Thief build that I actually promised to release a long while back, but I never got a hold of Editor, sorry. Um, I did try multiple times. I think he's just having some real life issues going on at the moment, and so I'm going to release the build. Keep in mind, I did not make it. This is completely Editor's build, and it still works just as great as it did the day I made that montage. This goes to Jason, who was, he really wanted that build, I could tell. And I didn't want to release the build without Eddard coming on and talking about it with me because, as I said, it's not mine to actually give out. Eddard was perfectly okay with coming on to talk about it with me and releasing it to the public. However, he has not been online for, God, a week, maybe two. It's been a long while. So this goes straight to Jason. There was a comment. I'm trying to remember what it was. When he said the traits on this video are so see-through. It's 10-30-00-30. I love that guy because he can see his traits. That's exactly what these traits are. I'll actually have that show up on the screen for everyone to see. As I do with all my videos, I'll start with traits. I'll explain them fairly quick because this will be a fairly quick video. I'm actually going to talk with a newfound friend of Sorankar Gaming and see if we can't find ourselves some more music. More music choices. We know we want it. Tell me if you want it. I know you want it. Okay. In any case, we'll start with Deadly Arts, Critical Strikes, and then go to Trickery. First off, of course, every thief in the world is using Mug, and so are we. Mug is great. You get a little bit of healing, you deal some damage. What's not good about it? It's pretty much self-explanatory. For this build, you'll be stealing fairly often, so you'll be getting a good heal every, I think it's 25 seconds? About every 25 seconds or so, you would get a good heal, you do some damage. Plus, you get a bunch of buffs from the other traits that are in this, this trait tree. Pistol Mastery, of course, since we're using the pistol for our main hand, it's useful to have more damage, of course, because if you, well, we're trying to do as much damage here as we can, so work with me, I'm a little tired. In any case, Signet use. We only have one Signet. However, we're using that Signet just about on cooldown. I'm not going to say every time, because sometimes I like to let the passive effect of that Signet run so I can get as much initiative as I can. However, if I want to get in and get out real quick, I'm using that Signet just about on cooldown. So having it recharge faster and the 2 initiative gain when using it, that's useful to have for when I need to jump in and out of a fight without dying. Because, let's face it, this build is fairly squishy, as most builds for thieves are nowadays. I like the 10-30-30 build. I love that build, the backstab build, but it doesn't seem to work too well in server PvP situations. Executioner. This is great because generally you can drop an opponent to 50% or lower fairly quick with this build. It's very, very bursty, very, very burst heavy. You'll do a lot of damage very, very fast, but you're also going to take a lot of damage very, very fast. A lot of people thought this build was very glass cannon, and it's not really. I wouldn't personally call it glass cannon. Only reason is because, as bursty as it is, if you can evade and, you know, stay kind of, if you can kite very well, you'll be doing just fine. This build will, I've not seen too many cases where this build doesn't rip right through, because we all know I love playing on a warrior. So, I've had this build used on me, and my Signet regeneration plus all the other healing I have going on, and even the Ultimate Warrior build, all those shouts, it rips right through them real fast. Not to say my Ultimate Warrior build wasn't. I could defeat the build, but I had to play correctly. The kiting was a problem, as I mentioned in that build, so I had to use Savage Leap, had to get close, and then when I'm even playing this build, I can defeat that build or any other builds that the warrior is using. If I can kite them well enough, I can jump in and out, do the damage, because most of the damage, the big crits that you were seeing in that Thief montage was actually coming from Shadow Strike. Now that's People were asking me how's that going on, because 213 damage plus 711 really isn't really a whole lot, and I'll get to that a little later. But for now, let's move to Trickery, where Thrill of Crime. I told you earlier where Mug was so useful. Thrill of Crime makes it even more so, because every time we steal, every 20, I think it's 25. Let me check real quick. 21 and a half seconds. So every time we steal, we are getting Fury, Might, and Swiftness for 10 seconds. That's half the time. So half that time, then we can steal again. So I said that wrong. Okay, so when we steal, half our cooldown will be over by the time these buffs are gone. Not to mention, it's also throwing these buffs on our allies, so that's always nice to have when your allies are there with you. They're getting Might, Swiftness, and Fury, Might, and Swiftness, and they can rip apart the same person either you are, or if you're in that big old, if you're in the graveyard and you're all just whacking away at people, and you just all of a sudden you steal, everyone's got Might, Swiftness, and Fury, and they're just ripping everyone apart. Bountiful Theft. Personally, I think I like this one the most, just because I like the idea of a thief who, when he steals, he's actually getting something very useful out of it. And sometimes when I steal from like a Guardian, I don't really think that little interrupt is really that great when compared to, when I steal a Warrior and I get that little Blade Fury thingamajig going on. Kind of weighing the what's good and what's not there. In any case, stealing grants up all nearby allies vigor for 15 seconds. Up to 2 boons are also ripped from your target and granted to nearby allies. This doesn't necessarily that the boons are given to you, but they are given to allies, and they're taken away from your enemy, which is always nice to have, because if they got less boons, and you got more boons, or your allies got more boons, better for you. Sleight of Hand. This is what's making our reducing the steal so nice. Not to mention, the steal or recharge rate is already increased by 30%, added to another 20% onto there. Not to mention, we also get to daze them every time we steal. So every 21 and a half seconds, we're getting all the boons, and we're dazing them. It's really nice. It's really nice. Let's move to runes. I'm gonna say trait. We're gonna go over the traits again. All right. List of runes. Here recently, when I was using another build, I was using actually same trait tree, honestly, but a few different minor trait changes. Where I was using a bit of a pistol whip build, and I was using actually runes of the Centaur. I didn't get to try that out for this build. I don't know if runes of the Centaur would actually be just as good for this, because like I said, the trait tree is exactly the same, just a few minor trait changes. And I was using runes of the Lissa instead, or Centaur instead. So that might be something to try if anyone's interested in giving that a shot. Arcing Pistol of Fire. No, you don't have to use Arcing Pistol, but you do have to use the Sigil of Fire. Flame Blast for AoE damage. We're critting just about, like I said, our crit chance is about 57%. That's close to 60. So over half our hits that we're doing are critting, and 30% of those are going to enact a Flame Blast. So if we're in a big fight and I hit someone, that Flame Blast is going to hit everyone. Surely by now everyone knows what a Flame Blast looks like and how nice it is to have. Sigil Superior Force, we need a little bit of extra damage because we're just shy of 3,000 damage. Or 3,000 attack, my bad. I use the Valley Short Bow of Fire. I personally, I'm a fan of the Flame Blast, so really, you could change this for anything, because I don't really swap to my bow nearly as often as I probably should. At least not for server PvP. So that, if I was to make a guess, considering how hard you can be hit with this build, because like I said, we don't even have 2,000 armor. I would probably go with leeching. So every time you swap to your bow, you would get I think it's about 1,000 heal, which isn't bad to have. Not to mention you're stealing with your mug, and you're getting 1,000 heal from that. Actually, I think I've gotten about 2,000 heal, maybe. Don't hold me to it. Plus, you got withdrawal you can use every 15 seconds. Amulet. Berserker's Amulet. Nothing special about it. That's basically it for this build. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to jump down here and look around like a pretty boy. Basic rotation of this build. see if I can't give it. First of all, Basilisk Venom, because as I told you, list of runes, when you use elite skill, you're going to lose all condition and gain all boons for 5 seconds. So the more boons you got, harder you're going to hit. You're going to hit this, whatever target fairly quick. You want to burst them down as quick as possible. Should anything happen when you're, jumping in and out, you got blinding powder. So you can stealth yourself, run off, blind them, get some distance in there. If you can't get distance, you got Shadow Step to get that distance. Like, if you honestly can't get away by running, you'll Shadow Step your ass away. You also got Infiltrator Signet. I was talking earlier about how I was using my Signet to jump in and out. The Shadow Steps to your foe. When I jump out is when I'm using Shadow Strike. So you Shadow Step away. This is really a Shadowdance build. That's kind of what I told Edward we were going to call it, the Shadowdance. Because you're jumping in and out, in and out, in and out. It's real fast. You're, you'll steal, you'll jump in. You'll I can't talk. Shadow Strike, you'll jump out. You'll Infiltrator Signet, you'll jump in. You'll Shadow Strike, you'll come out. You'll Shadow Step back in. Shadow Strike, you'll come back out. By this time, they should be dead. Like, you're just dancing all over the place. And if you decide you don't want to use Shadow Strike, okay, well, we're going to Cloak and Dagger. You Cloak and Dagger their ass, then you run off. You can use Sneak Attack. Put a bunch of bleeds on them. That Sneak Attack's doing 5 real quick shots, so that's 5 real quick crits. Let's have some fun with this. Alright, this is the rotation. I'm going to do it on the light or the medium golem. Real quick, I usually use Steel first. Real quick, real easy. Whee! Alright. Now, I'm going to try it on the heavy golem real quick. Let this another 20 seconds real quick run by. I do like Infiltrator Signet. I don't always use it on cooldown. As I said, I do like the regenerating 1 extra initiative every 10 seconds. However, when faced with how fast I can jump in and out, it's not nearly as useful to use as much as, because I can use Shadow Strike and just jump real quick between enemies. If like a warrior charges me, I get too close, I'll just Shadow Strike them, and now they gotta run at me again. It's the not to mention Shadow Strike is doing most of my damage. Don't get me wrong, I'm also using Dancing Dagger, Body Shot, depending on, what's going on. If I need to keep them crippled and I need to kite them, Dancing Dagger's my new best friend. If I need a little bit of vulnerability before my burst, I'm going to use Body Shot, and within that 3.5 seconds, I'm going to be doing as much bursting as I can. But your main 3 things are going to be Cloak and Dagger, Shadow Strike, Vital Shot, or Sneak Attack. So let's go on to Heavy Golem real quick. This will be the last bit. And
armored up.
Whoops. Whoops. Accidentally used Dancing Dagger on that one. I recently changed my 4-in-1 abilities because I'm gearing up for World versus World, and I'm using more of a backstab build. And I got tired of my pinky finger getting hurt every time I hit 1 because I was using it so often. So I was just like, what, screw it, I'm going to use 4. Still kind of getting used to that change. But that's the general idea of the build. Things will fall very, very quickly. But if we... I'm trying to think here how to best explain it. You don't want to get gang raped, is pretty much what I'm saying. Because this build, as dodgy as it is, as dancy as it is, honestly, because you can Shadow Step all over the place. As much utility and dodging and just Shadow Stepping in general you don't have that armor to back it up. So play like a thief, play like a little annoying thief, and dodge and Shadow Step everything. The less they hit you, the more annoyed they're going to get, for one, and the less hit points you're going to lose. Because every hit really counts for this. I wonder if I can take down the chieftain. I'll take him on. I'll take him on. Here we go. How manly is it? Oh no, I missed my Shadow Strike. and that was a little too easy. But that was only with one target. Keep that in mind. When you have multiple people on you, I can normally kite them fairly easily. You know, because let's keep it... Okay, let's write a scenario in mind. Let's say we got a warrior... And what's something that can't be kited very well? I'm thinking elementalist, because they can remove all kinds of conditions real fast with their little swap into water annoying bullshit. Dancing Dagger, of course, is going to be my new best friend. I told you that earlier, and it's still true. I even used it in that little fight with the chieftain, so that he would be a little slower when I was kiting him. Either way, so we got an annoying elementalist. Let's say they're using Dagger, so they can, like, you know, jump in. They got to do a little bit of melee. And we got a warrior. Let's just do regular stun warrior. Just keep this simple. Both are coming at you. Of course, I'm probably going to focus the elementalist first because I know this is going to be the more annoying of the two to fight with the removing of conditions and such. Not to mention I'm throwing as many bleeds, torment, and cripple on them as I can. Not to mention vulnerability every now and then. So elementalist needs to drop first. Plus, I know elementalists are normally going to be the faster to drop. With this burst, this much of a bursty build, she's going to drop, I say she, sorry, he or she is going to drop fairly quickly. What you're going to want to do is you're going to cripple the warrior. First things first, cripple the warrior. You got 6 seconds now where he's going to be crippled. Unless, of course, the elementalist wants to swap the water and remove it for him if they've traded into it. But for now, we're going to go with the assumption that the elementalist isn't really paying attention to the warrior, and you can cripple the warrior, kite him around while you're focusing this elementalist, because the elementalist has to follow you too, and they're going to be harder to kite. When the elementalist gets close, you're going to want to cloak and dagger first, throw in basilisk venom, get a little bit of range to them, sneak attack them, steal, shadow strike, infiltrator signet, and shadow strike again. Most likely, don't hold me to it, of course, but most likely, out of most elementalist fights I've had, they should actually already be down at this point. With the crit damage coming from that, I've not seen an elementalist survive it easily. Unless they were extreme bunkering, you know, just bunking out. That should be a phrase, bunk out. We should do it. Bunk phrase, bunk out. Alright, and then you're going to want to run in, cloak and dagger, and you're going to want to be quick about this because most likely they're going to misform and run off, or the warrior's going to try and heal them up. Cloak and dagger so you're stealth, and stomp them. You want to get that stomp off as quick as possible. If warrior manages to get her back up, do it again. Keep getting this until the elementalist is down. Do not even worry about that warrior. That warrior is so low priority at this moment, it don't matter. Once the elementalist is disposed of, you want to be careful with this warrior's stuns, because as before, in this scenario, it's a stun warrior. Meaning they probably got a lot of armor and a bunch of annoying little skull crackers coming your way. First off, before they can get any stuns off, every time they get close, shadow strike them. This is gonna, you know, they're coming to you, so why not use it? This puts you farther away, does damage to them. It puts torment on them, which they probably don't have any good condition removal at this time. You can also keep stacking the bleed. You want to use basilisk venom, steal them, because when these two are combined, it throws on more boons, it stacks them, and it also dazes them. Plus that nice little turn to stone thing is always funny. So when you're dazing them, they don't have, you know, it can interrupt their stun too if you do it in the middle of it. Time it correctly though, because I've seen it glitch and you still get stunned. So kite them, you know, if you get close, blinding powder them so they're blinded. Then you can sneak attack them while you're right next to them, and then shadow strike them for a good little bleed, torment, combo, crit damage. If you can do this long enough, they will fall. They have no chance. Every time they actually get a stun off and start getting their stuff. Normally you want to shadow step away, so save your shadow step for when, you know, they actually do get a good stun off. Alright, I think that should be the end of this. If there's any questions to this build that I didn't answer through this, that you know, like I said, I'm tired and I'm not thinking straight all the way. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. Jason, this went straight to you, my friend. I made this specifically for you. Alright, see y'all in the next video.